Benvenuti a tutti, and welcome to another edition of Italian America Long Island. My name is Dave Anthony Cuccidati. Today we have a real treat for you. We're going to show you how to make two delicious Italian dishes. First, we're going to go over to Gerri's house. Gerri is an excellent cook, and she's going to show us how to make homemade fresh mozzarella. And then I'm going to be able to sample some. Then after that, we're going to the home of our lodge member, Cissy. Cissy and her cousins have been Smithtown community members for over 100 years. Cissy is one of our lodge members, and she and her cousins are going to discuss some of their family history and then show us how to make Cuccidati, which are traditional Sicilian fig cookies that are made for Christmas. Well, let's get going because I'm hungry.
Benvenuti nella mia cucina. Welcome to my kitchen. My name is Gerri Graham, and today I am going to give you a demonstration on how to make fresh mozzarella from curd. Now you might ask, what is curd? Okay, it's sour milk basically, but it's not the kind that will make you sick. It's deliberately curdled so that you have a solid formation and you also have the liquid, which is called the whey. You may remember Little Miss Muffet, she was eating both curds and whey. Okay, let's get on to what the tools are you will need in order to make the mozzarella. First of all, you will need 1 pound of curd. This is curd. It's a 1 pound section that I took from the 20-pound piece. It can be refrigerated for up to 5 days, or it can be frozen, and you can make the mozzarella whenever you desire. The other things that you will need, 2 bowls. One for the curd as you break it apart, and the other for ice water so that you do not burn your hands as you are working the curd. 2 wooden spoons, some sea salt or kosher salt, a tablespoon, last but not least, your cupina, your ladle, and ice cubes. Let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is to boil 2 quarts of water. For each pound of curd, you need 2 quarts of water and 2 tablespoons of salt. Now while this is boiling, we're going to break apart the curd. You always start with perfectly clean hands, no rings, no nail polish, unless of course your guests will be on a treasure hunt and they don't mind finding little beads of polish in their mozzarella or perhaps your diamonds. You take the curd and smush it with your hands. You're a kid again, playing with Play-Doh. The pieces should be rather small, perhaps pea-sized, maybe a little bit larger. But I find this very, very relaxing. A little bit of patience, a little bit of time. It helps to have Italian music playing in the background and to just think about the delicious product that you will have when you are finished with this. Just keep going, breaking it apart. It's very forgiving. Don't worry about getting uniform pieces. The object is that when the water is added, it blends. I think we're doing very well here. I love doing this. I guess this is the next best thing to making dough. get a little bit more here. Now when this is all broken apart, you have an option. You can either add a tablespoon of salt to it and mix it all together so that it blends. Or you can just leave it without the additional salt. I prefer leaving it without the additional salt, mainly because I have salt in the boiling water, and then I will also be adding salt to the cold water in which the mozzarella ball will be soaking and bathing. You can always add salt, but you cannot take it out. So whatever your preference is, first time you make it, try it without the additional salt. If you don't like it, then you can just add more. We're almost finished here. See the pieces? They're not minuscule, but they're workable. And this is what you want. Okay, let's go check on the water. And I'm going to bring this to the water rather than carrying the boiling water to the counter. Looks like just a minute or so. I'm going to stir and make sure it's completely dissolved. Just about ready to boil. It's very important that the water be hot enough so that the mozzarella can blend together. And also, the mozzarella curd should be at room temperature when you are first starting the process. Watch the pot never boils. I can see it bubbling. Come on, come on. Patience, patience. The one thing I learned from my grandmothers and my mother, patience when you're cooking and a little bit of love into the food. And that's what makes it taste so good regardless of what your recipe says. Okay, here we go. Very carefully scoop out the hot water and put it around the edges of the bowl. Do not pour it directly over the curd, just around the edges of the bowl until the curd is completely immersed. Excellent. Okay, turn off that, put on my timer for 2 minutes, and move this over here. You can see that the curd is immersed in the water. And in 2 minutes' time, you'll get a great surprise. That's when the fun begins. That's when you get to work with the wooden spoons. Size of the wooden spoons doesn't really matter. As you can see, I have one small one that's fairly new and one that looks like it's ancient, which it is. I think this was my mom's. Some things you just keep. Cold water is ready, and this will be ready shortly. The 2 minutes are up, and here we go. You do not stir the curd. You just fold it over and over until it starts to resemble taffy. You can see it melting here. Beautiful. Look at that. Look at that. This is unbelievable. And what's even more unbelievable is the freshness of the taste. You will never, never buy it in the supermarket again. Unless, of course, you're in a hurry. Okay, here we go. Look at this. Look at this. Now I get to pick it up. Not too hot. It's bearable. And this is where I turn it in my hands until I form the ball that I'm looking for. A nice smooth ball. Don't work it too much because then it becomes chewy and you won't get that nice creamy texture. Okay, there it is. Now we're going to put it in the ice water and just let it take a little bath for maybe about 2 minutes. And while that's happening, I'll put everything into the sink. Once this is completely done, you take it out of the water, you wrap it very securely in wrap, and let it sit for about 1 hour so that the texture forms and the wonderful tastes meld. And you'll be salivating, waiting to have this beautiful mozzarella. We'll just wait a little bit longer for it to be ready. While I'm waiting, I'm going to get my wrap ready. Okay, here we go. We're taking the beautiful ball. Now with your first mozzarella, you probably will say, okay, this is so beautiful. Do I eat it or do I have it bronzed? My suggestion is you eat it and enjoy it. First thing we'll do, we'll wrap it this way, make sure it's completely covered, and then we make little pigtails. Little pigtails. Wrap it up. Now this is going to rest for an hour before we eat it. It should be eaten at room temperature because that's when you get the best flavor out of it. Especially if you add some tomato and some basil, a little bit of olive oil. That is awesome. Go. Okay. This pigtail's a little short, but anyway. There it is. I'm going to put it in a dish and I'm going to let it rest for 1 hour. Go. What I've done is to make a fresh mozzarella earlier in the day. It's right here. It's just waiting for us. So I will unwrap the little pigtails. And there's one more here. It's very easy to forget that you have 2 wrappings on here because it is so close to the mozzarella, it almost looks like skin. But as soon as you start cutting it, you'll get the message. Here it is, nice and round and ready to be cut. I think the best thing when you have fresh mozzarella is to have it with fresh tomatoes and some basil. So I've already julienned my basil. I have my mozzarella waiting, my nice knife, and we start cutting. Nice sized pieces. You want to taste the full flavor, get the full flavor. It is so creamy and so moist. Here we go. Another plate. Let's put it on the plate. See how beautiful that is? I almost can't wait. Almost can't wait for this. Okay, now a little bit of tomato. You're going to need a little salt on your tomato anyway, so it doesn't even matter that you didn't put extra in there. And of course we're going to add the julienne basil. Wow, doesn't that look beautiful? The colors of Italy, the red, white, and green. Now, final touch, a little bit of olive oil. Wow, that is a masterpiece. What I think I'm going to do now is just pour myself a glass of Chianti, break off a big piece of Italian bread, and sit down and enjoy my bella mozzarella. Grazie e ciao.
My name is Cissy. These are my cousins Peg, Joanne, and Colleen, and we're getting together for our yearly Cuccidati Italian fig cookie recipe so that we can keep our family tradition alive.
Hi, my name is Colleen. My grandmother, Virginia Boone, we put a cookbook together for her 80th birthday, and the recipe that we're using for the Cuccidati cookies is in her recipe booklet, and we put this together with all her favorite recipes, and it's a family tradition. We passed it on to all of our cousins and nieces and nephews. We had a large printing done for her birthday, and it's a great memory for all of us.
I'm Peggy Machucci, one of the cousins here today, and I'd like to tell you a little bit how my grandparents came to this country. My grandfather was from San Giuseppe Alto, and my grandmother was from a town right nearby called San Cipriello. They came to the United States and settled in Brooklyn. And then from there, they came to Smithtown, and my cousin Joanne will talk a little bit about that.
After settling in Smithtown, they began to create this wonderful family, and eventually every house was a relative. So we had the most idyllic childhood. They would open the doors and you could go and visit any of the relatives. The Cuccidati cookies was only one small, wonderful thing that was a wonderful tradition in our family. All of us have incredible memories.
At one time, there were 12 families of relatives on a block and a half, and the town named this section of Smithtown Machucci.
Not only did we have relatives living in every single house around the block, my grandmother and grandfather had a huge garden. We had beautiful flowers, incredible, then heirloom tomatoes. We used to save the seeds. We had a cow, we had chickens, so we had our own milk, our own eggs, wonderful corn. He was an incredible gardener, and I think that comes down to all of us also. We have those. Cissy is an incredible gardener, so we had incredible things in our past.
during World War II, when food and meat was rationed, we never had a problem because we did have chickens. My grandfather used to slaughter pigs, and we had milk and meat, and of course they canned everything from the garden, so they had an area downstairs where they stored all the food that we could have all during the winter. As my grandfather said, we may not have money, but we will always have food.
Cuccidati are traditional Sicilian fig cookies made for Christmas. We've had them every Christmas that we can remember growing up, starting with our grandparents making them and us taking over the tradition and keeping it alive within our family. It's made over several days because the fig mixture here is a lot of ingredients and labor intensive to cut and chop and mix. Next day we make the dough, and today we're rolling the dough, filling them out, and baking them. You can see some on the pan here. You can see Joanne filling some and preparing to start cutting them so that we can bake them. They then come out of the oven and get a glaze of confectionery sugar and colored sprinkles. Here's what the filling looks like. It's figs, mincemeat, raisins, almonds, walnuts, candied fruit, marmalade, cinnamon, honey, brown sugar, and rum on top, which is the best part.
Yum.
The second step for the dough is the dough mixture, which is a combination of shortening, flour, ice water, and salt. We make a huge batch, probably 10 double recipes, and we are able to share the recipe and the cookies with our friends and family.
I think you forgot Crisco.
No, shortening, I said.
Oh, shortening.
We don't want to advertise Crisco.
Okay.
My poor little thing is just sitting there waiting.
We're adding the filling now, and we're gonna put them together so everybody gets a nice little beautiful bite of this lovely fig mixture. That's just enough of heaven right there.
After the dough is rolled out and filled with the fig mixture, it's placed on the baking pan, put in the oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes until they're nice and golden brown.
After they come out of the oven, they are iced and sprinkled. In the old days, my grandmother used to hide them from us, and they are placed on a plate, a Tree of Life plate that was made by our cousin Jennifer. And then we have to get them all together so we can give out to other people.
That's right.
Yes,
You know?
everybody in the family wants
Everybody
them.
there wants them.
And I like to bring them to my friends so they can try them, because people say, what are
What are
cuccidatas?
these?
Right.
They don't go, and they try them and they like them,
Right.
which is the best part about it.
Yes, it is the best part.
Well, it's great that we all came together to do this once again.
Right,
Yes.
right.
It's very special.
Yes.
We have to
It
keep
is.
on doing it,
Yes,
as long as we last.
yes. I can carry it on.
And you can carry it on. The youngster can keep on going. Who knows about the rest of us?
How wonderful that we're keeping our tradition alive by placing these cookies on a plate made by a wonderful cousin and on a tablecloth made by my grandmother, which I treasure just as I treasure these cookies.
hope you enjoyed that. I want to thank Sister Gerri and Sister Cissy and her cousins for showing us those wonderful recipes. You know, if you join the Solera Lodge, one of the benefits is that we have some excellent cooks as members, and we often have wonderful collations and dinners of authentic Italian specialties. I'd like to point out that you don't have to be Italian to be a member of the lodge. Of course, you should like Italian things, but you can be a social member. Well, I hope you join, and I want to thank you once again for watching our show. Ciao.